Okay, so I will cover today in general where it fits within MOIP ecosystem, and in details cover all the feature set of the MOIP amplifier models. And in general, we have 3 models where the size is the biggest difference in terms how many connections, how many audio zones you can cover with each. So first of all, just to double check, you can see my screen, right? You can see my presentation.
Yeah, the
Okay,
presentation
perfect.
that we'll share with us later, right?
Of course, yeah, I will send it.
Yeah.
So first of all, just to go quickly through the main MOIP concept. So MOIP is audio and video transmission through the standard TCP/IP network. The main parts of each MOIP system are transmitter, where you connect your audio or video source, receiver, where you connect your audio endpoint or video display, and you would need MOIP controller, where MOIP controller is main brain of the MOIP, where all the transmitters and the receivers are practically routed, and MOIP controller manages which transmitter pairs with which receiver. So all of this works through the MOIP controller, and MOIP controller is the management point, the place where you access the MOIP system and control everything else. So remember that transmitters and receivers, they are not devices which are reachable from the local network because they are not getting IP address from the router. They are completely manageable from the MOIP controller, and the MOIP controller is single point of the management of the MOIP system. As it is completely audio and video routing transferred through the IP network, it is quite important that you have a good network design when you are setting up MOIP within your system. Because of that, it is mandatory to connect MOIP devices to the managed switch, because managed switch would provide option to enable IGMP snooping, which controls the amount of multicast traffic in the network, and that way you can prevent potential overflowing of the network due to multicast traffic generated by the MOIP. And there are multiple ways how you can organize your MOIP. Ideal and the simplest one is to connect everything MOIP related to the single switch. And in that case, you do not need to think about uplink throughput between that switch and the other switches. But if MOIP is distributed across different switches, it is quite critical to have minimum 10 gigabit uplinks with between those two switches if we are speaking about audio transmission or standard video transmission. And for the latest generation MOIP, if we are speaking about 960, we need to have 10 gigabit uplinks between those switches because they use 10 gigabit access ports. So in short, those are main things to have in mind when we are speaking about MOIP in general. So let's see where MOIP amplifier fits within the MOIP ecosystem. With MOIP amplifier, the main idea is in fact to integrate MOIP audio receiver with amplifier itself. So in one box, you have 2 devices, amplifier where you connect your speakers and MOIP audio receiver. That means that MOIP amplifier doesn't require any audio cabling in terms to connect audio input. All audio streams are coming directly through the network connection. We have 3 models available from the MOIP amplifiers, which are different in terms of how many audio zones they can support. So the simplest one, the smallest one, has 3 audio 3 channels, 3 audio outputs, and it can be configured only as a single audio zone. So you cannot split those 3 channels to multiple zones. It acts like a single virtual MOIP audio receiver. The total power budget of this amplifier is 50 watts, and also it has one dedicated subwoofer output, line level subwoofer output for the active subwoofer. Also, it supports one audio analog input and one audio digital input with two connectors. It can be like either coax or audio optical. So just have in mind that you have two inputs depending on the type of cable which you are using, but it is just a single digital input, so you cannot use both at the same time. The next in line is 6-channel amplifier. Like 3-channel amplifier, it also has the same total power budget of 50 watts. So just remember that 3 and 6 channel MOIP amplifiers, they have total power budget of 50 watts, which means they can be used they can be powered up as a PoE++ device. So you can have just the network cable powering those amplifiers. Of course, we suggest to have PoE++ with 90 watts, because if you power it up with 90 watts, you can pull maximum 50 watts on the output, but it also can be powered up by PoE++ with 60 watts, but in that case, the maximum power output is lower than 50 watts, because you cannot take the 50 watts just for the audio signal. It needs more power to power up amplifier itself. So generally, with 90 watts PoE++, you can get maximum power budget available from those amplifiers. Also, this 6-channel amplifier, it also has dedicated line level subwoofer outputs. It has 3 of them, so you can combine like 3 audio zones, 3 stereo zones with one additional subwoofer output for multi-room audio, for example. So MOIP 6-channel amplifier can be configured as 3 independent virtual audio receivers. That is the maximum 3 receivers for this amp. Regarding audio inputs, it is completely the same like 3-channel amplifier. It has one analog and one digital, which can be used either as RCA analog, digital can be used either as audio, optical, or coax, but it is still single digital input. And the biggest one, MOIP amplifier we have, is with 12 channels, and it is completely different when power budget is in question. It can support up to 100 watts per channel, which means maximum power budget for this power amplifier is 1200 watts. And of course, due to its power consumption, it cannot be powered up by PoE. It requires additional, like its own direct power supply. Comparing in size, the 3 and 6-channel amplifiers, they are small boxes which are easily mounted to VersaBox, for example, behind the TV or in the wall, while 12-channel amplifier, it is 2U rack unit, and typically it is intended to be placed in the rack. 12-channel amplifier has also dedicated 6 subwoofer outputs, line level outputs for the active subwoofers, and it also can support several independent audio zones. In this case, maximum number of independent audio zones created on this amplifier is 6, so it can be treated as 6 virtual audio receivers. When audio inputs are in question, this amplifier has one additional analog audio input comparing to 3 and 6-channel amplifiers, which means it has 3 inputs in total, 2 analog and 1 digital. So that this is like a short overview of MOIP amplifier models we have. Any question? Yes.
One question, because I read also the manual about the this product, also to confirm me about the 12-channel. Also, we can decide to configure it as AVR, a left, center,
yes, I will
right.
show that. I will show that later.
I know on theater, no, but fifth, that 1-channel system.
Yes, yes.
Right?
So generally, yes, correct. So they are fully flexible. How you organize channels, it is completely up to you, and you can combine one audio zone up to 5.1 audio format. That's the maximum audio format it can support, 5.1. But I will explain that later in details.
Okay.
Another question about this. So these outputs, they are riff, so we can pick the signal from a controller and then.
Okay, so just to explain that it's a little bit confusing. What is RIF? What is MOIP? So RIF is audio source. RIF is digital audio platform, which act like a media player and which you can distribute across the project from the core controller, for example. RIF is supported on the core EA controllers and on SA1, like new generation triad one. They can act as audio source. MOIP amplifier, as amplifier, it's not source of audio by itself. So it can receive RIF through the MOIP, but it doesn't have RIF itself. So if you would like to use it as audio source, you have to have external audio source connected to the audio input. But MOIP amplifier doesn't have RIF digital streaming platform on itself. And when I mentioned that, just to clarify, if we have, for example, core controller with RIF on it, the core controller with latest OS, they have like a built-in virtual MOIP transmitter, which means if you pair core controller with MOIP amplifier, which has built-in MOIP receiver, you can completely stream RIF on this MOIP amplifier through the network without audio cabling. But that doesn't mean that RIF is on the MOIP. It just receives RIF from the controller.
Because there is a player inside. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, any other question?
And these inputs, we cannot pick these inputs on this amplifier that we have on the picture to send to another amplifier in another room.
You can. Yes. So it can act either as receiver or transmitter as well.
Okay.
So yes, Ronnie.
Last question, because we are talking about this amplifier are MOIP receiver. In this case, we need to put also the MOIP controller.
Yes. So MOIP cannot work without MOIP controller.
Okay.
So for example, if you pair core controller and MOIP amplifier, you do not need any audio cabling. Everything is going through the network, but you still need one additional piece of hardware, which is MOIP controller, which is managing routing of audio streams.
Okay. Thank you.
So one more question, very quick. Can I use this amplifier as standalone if I don't connect MOIP controller ever? Input goes directly to output, just powered by PoE with a fixed gain?
Well, I didn't test that myself.
We can do that.
But I don't see why not, because it should directly recognize input and just forward it like a standard amplifier on the output. Generally, you cannot stream it across the network for sure without my controller. Sure. But I don't see any problem to directly connect the input, just forward to the output. So I'm quite sure that it can be done, but I didn't test it myself. So
I'm imagining a TV, and we just use this to power two small speakers on the side, and we power this as PoE to save cables or whatever.
I have that example later in the presentation, but it's not explicitly stated that MOIP controller is not required. But in that case, we are not using any MOIP features. So it is working like a standard amplifier. So I think that should be fine.
Cool.
Two questions.
So, yes.
The 6-channel is also powered by PoE?
Yes.
Or only the 3-channel?
Okay. 3 and 6. And remember, 3 and 6, they have the same power budget, total power budget, 50 watts in total. So they are same when power budget is in question. Just the channel's number is different.
The other question is, do they have a DSP or any equalization inside?
Yes. They have like full feature set like Audio Matrix. I will show you how it looks like also. Okay, any further question before we continue?
Finish question.
Okay. I think I will repeat answer to those questions during the presentation, but okay, just feel free to interrupt whenever you find important. So regarding the hardware, It is quite simple. Regarding status LEDs, you have LED indicating the power and LED indicating the status of each channel. This is example of the rear side of the 12 channel amplifier. As you can see, you have speaker level outputs for 12 channels, and above you have 6 line level outputs for the subwoofers. When inputs are in question, if you remember, only 12 channel amplifier has 2 analog inputs. So we have RCA inputs there. And on the right side, we have 1 digital input like all the other amplifier models, which you can use either through the coax or audio optical input. And of course, there is connection for the network. This 12 channel amplifier requires its own power supply, so it's not supported to be powered up by PoE because of the much higher power budget it provides. Okay, so what is the main benefit of MOIP amplifier? First of all, it completely removes any need to pull audio cabling through the system, because whole audio streaming, especially when paired with core controller, all audio streaming is done through the network, and you just need to connect it to the local area network, and that is your audio input at the same time. Also, like any other MOIP system, it is fully scalable. You can have as many transmitters as you like and as many receivers as you like in the local area network, as long as you don't have any congestion on the network, and as long as it is not utilizing more bandwidth than network switch or in general your local area network can provide. So your only limitation is total throughput you have available. And of course, the most important thing, any MOIP functionality from the MOIP amplifier cannot work without MOIP controller. So you always need to have one MOIP controller per the system. And it has to automatically discover MOIP amplifiers and MOIP transmitters in order to be able to connect audio streaming from the source to the audio endpoint. Also, to point out when I'm speaking about MOIP controller, to point out once again, all MOIP devices are not receiving IP address from the router. They have their own IP range, which is managed by MOIP controller. So don't be surprised when you connect, for example, MOIP controller in the local area network, that it is not getting IP address at all. It shouldn't get IP address from the router, and it shouldn't be in the local IP range from the router. So that means generally that MOIP amplifier itself doesn't have any kind of local web interface to be managed. And as you probably already know, we completely moved all management of the MOIP to the OvrC. So in order to configure any part of the MOIP system, MOIP controller or MOIP amplifier, they have to be online, registered to OvrC, and configured from there. So this, yes.
That, one thing only. That means that in our system, something happened on the controller. I don't know, flash something about the power, the audio distribution in this way, MOIP, stopping to work, right?
So a MOIP controller practically creates links between transmitters and receivers.
Yeah.
If that link is created once, and if it works, if MOIP controller drops, that shouldn't affect already created link. But if you would like to change the source or change the audio endpoint, that will not work without MOIP controller, because that is all handled by the MOIP controller itself.
Okay, thank you.
So this is example of the traditional audio distribution using MOIP audio receiver and transmitter. As you can see on the audio source side, we have one transmitter, MOIP controller on the main switch, and we have on the receiver side MOIP audio receiver connected to the traditional amp. So with MOIP amp, we do not need receiver anymore because receiver is already inside the amp. So all we need is like standard network connection where audio stream is received through the Ethernet port, to say like that. And I would add in this picture also that if we have core controller on the left-hand side, we also do not need audio transmitter because audio transmitter is already built in with it within the core controller itself. So having MOIP controller on the left side and MOIP amplifier on the right side, everything goes through the standard network cable. So let's see now how we can configure MOIP amplifiers, how many zones we can support from them. I already mentioned when I was speaking about available channels from the MOIP amplifier, I mentioned how many independent audio zones you can create. So here is quick overview. 3-channel MOIP amplifier, it can act like a single audio receiver, 6-channel as 3 audio receivers, and 12-channel amplifier can be configured as maximum 6 independent audio receivers, which means 6 different audio zones. Similarly, as they can act like a virtual receivers, they can act as virtual transmitters. So depending on the number of audio inputs, you can define like a different number of audio transmitters per each amp. If you remember 3 and 6 channel amplifier, they have 1 analog and 1 digital input. That means they can act like a 2 virtual transmitters, and 12-channel amplifier has one digital and 2 analog, so it can act like a 3 virtual audio transmitters in a single box.
What?
So yes.
I sorry, very quickly question about the input and the streaming from the input. Working in the same way than the input on the controller, that creating a lot latency from the source.
So it is like you have digital input in controller, yes, because the controller also has like a digital input and it acts like a virtual transmitter, so it's completely the same way. Yeah.
The way we can't use it for the audio from the TV because we have delay between video and audio.
So you have configuration, you can define the audio delay. You have option to define within 250 milliseconds. So you can manually configure it to be in sync. The maximum delay which you can add is 250 milliseconds. And that is available on the setup. It is similar. You had the same option on the tried one.
Okay.
So the same thing is implemented here.
One question.
Yes.
With, for example, this unit, you technically could have connected to this single MOIP amp 9 transmitters because you have the 6 built in and also the RCAs and digital inputs, or it doesn't work like that?
So it has like, for example, 12-channel. It acts like 3 virtual transmitters and 6 virtual receivers. So you can have 6 audio endpoints and 3 audio sources maximum.
Okay.
So regarding the configuration, how, for example, for 12-channel amplifier, how you will organize the channels, it's all up to you. So it is fully flexible. You can create 2 zones or 5.1 channels, or you can create 6 zones of stereo channels, or you can use only 1 channel like a monozone. That is all configurable on the MOIP amplifier itself when creating the zones on the amplifier. So just remember that even if you use, for example, mono audio for single zone, you still have a limitation of up to maximum 6 audio zones per amplifier. So you cannot use like 12 mono zones or something like that. 6 is the maximum number. Regarding the subwoofer output, I mentioned that we have line level output dedicated on each amplifier. Depending on the size, depends the number of subwoofer outputs available. Also, like for the speaker output, you have equalizer available for the subwoofer, where you can define the crossover, how it should look like, and also you have like a low pass filter setup, which is assigned to the subwoofer output. Also, when we speak about the subwoofers, beside option to directly connect active subwoofer to the subwoofer output, you also have option to define one of the speaker level output to be like a subwoofer output. So in that case, you can also use speaker line output for the passive subwoofer. And it's fully configurable on the amplifier itself, how the subwoofer is connected, either to dedicated output or the speaker level output. And I will show you later how it is configured. So I mentioned already regarding the PoE, 3 and 6 channel power amplifiers can be powered up by PoE++, and also you have option to power them up through the DC power supply, which is like additional accessory. Just have in mind that total power budget is always the same, 50 watts. Limitation of the maximum audio format on the audio amplifier, regardless of the number of zones, is it 6 channel or 12 channel, is always 5.1. You cannot get more from that. So that means it cannot play back like Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, or 7.1 surround. If you have on the remote side audio format like that, you should lock MOIP transmitter to transmit up to 5.1 in order to be able to receive it on the MOIP amplifier side. So regardless on the available channels you have, for example, 12 channel amplifier, the maximum number per zone, maximum number of channels per zone is 6. That means 5.1 format. Regarding the DSP, that was questioned already. We have full configuration related to DSP, and you can customize the frequency response based on the acoustic of specific room, and also you have predefined templates. For example, based on the type of music which you are listening from the amplifier, you can select template for the frequency response for specific music as well. Like before, when you create the custom frequency response, you can export it and later import it on some other amplifiers. So when you create custom template once, you can distribute it on other amplifiers without need to create it all the way from the beginning. Regarding integration with OvrC, as I mentioned, there is no local web interface on the MOIP amplifier, so all configuration is done from OvrC. So you should have your project online and device discovered in OvrC in order to be able to configure it. Everything what stands for other devices in OvrC stands for MOIP amplifier as well. So you can do the firmware update, you can monitor it, track when it is online, offline, etc. Regarding the mounting, I mentioned that 3 and 6 channel amplifiers, they are smaller in size, typically mounted to VersaBox or behind the TV, whilst 12 channel amplifier, it is 2U rack unit, and it is intended to be placed in the central location in the rack. Regarding the power budget, I mentioned that 3 and 6 channel amplifiers, they are PoE++ devices. So ideally they would require, they will have 90 watts on the input in order to provide maximum power which they can forward. It is 50 watts. And 12 channel model, it has 100 watts per channel, which means total power budget of 1200 watts, and it is not PoE. Use cases. So this is the first example where we have direct connection of the audio output from the TV to the optical audio input. So there is no any MOIP controller here listed. So this should work like a standard amplifier, as we don't use any MOIP controller. Here, any MOIP transmission across the network, everything is local. This is example of soundbar with 3 channels and subwoofer connected to active subwoofer connected to the line output subwoofer. This is like a straightforward configuration, direct audio input, and soundbar and subwoofer connected to the outputs. This is more advanced 6-channel amplifier where we have audio optical coming from the TV and the subwoofer line level output on zone 1. And all the channels, we have like 3 channels for front channels and 2 channels for the rear channels used for the subwoofer and rear speakers. This is different implementation of the same amplifier. This is still 6-channel amplifier, but in this example, we use 6 channels divided in 3 zones with 2 stereo channels. So those 3 zones are completely independent and you can control them through the MOIP as you would need. As you see here, we don't have direct audio input. So in this case, for sure, we would need MOIP controller in this situation in order to be able to pair transmitter with receiver. And in this case, MOIP amplifier acts like a 3 independent audio receivers. Regarding the setup of the amplifier and benefits which it brings when cabling is in question, first of all, it is important to know that having the MOIP amplifier in the project means that you do not need to pull all audio cabling from the central location. So from the central location, we typically already have network cables, which can be used like cables for audio transmission as well. So here we have in the upper part of the house, we have 2 bedrooms, which we would traditionally connect to the main amplifier in the rack using the red speaker wiring. But in this case, when using MOIP amplifiers, we do not need to pull speaker wires. We connect amplifiers through the network, and then just from the amplifier itself in the local rooms, in the bedrooms, we do audio wiring using the speaker wires. So in that case, we have more flexibility because we use part of the standard network infrastructure for audio streaming without need to pull from the central location all the way speaker wiring. So as MOIP amplifier is used for the audio receiver, it also can be used as audio transmitter using the local audio input. So in this case, we have audio source, some local audio source in the bedroom, and through the network using the MOIP ecosystem, using the MOIP controller, we can stream that audio source across the house in different parts, and we do not need to have it centrally located in the rack room. So those are all the main features and options available from the 3 models of MOIP amplifiers which we provide. Before I go to the OvrC setup, do you have any questions so far?
All good.
Okay. So let me show you how it looks on OvrC. In this case, I have in my project 3-channel amplifier. So let me just go here. This is my project, local project. And MOIP amplifier is listed here on the first place. As you can see, it doesn't have IP address listed here, like any other MOIP device, because it's not in the local IP range. When I click on the MOIP amplifier, I get the main overview of receivers and transmitters available. So let me just, by default, you will not have any receiver. So it will be like this. And below you can see 2 inputs available. One is analog and the other is digital, and I can select is it optical or coax here. So first, when I'm defining my audio zone, first what I would need to do is to create a zone on the MOIP amplifier. I go to configure, and here in zone configuration, I go add zone. As this is, I can call it 2.1 audio zone. As this is 3-channel amplifier, any configuration which includes more than 3 channels is grayed out. So I have option to create mono, stereo, on or 3-channel zone. So in this case, I can select, for example, stereo. It can be 2.1, which means I have 2 speakers connected to the speaker output and 1 subwoofer connected either to the 3rd channel as a passive subwoofer or to the subwoofer output for a line level if it is active. So if I select, for example, here below, if I select that it is powered subwoofer, active subwoofer, that means I will use line level output from the amplifier itself. If I select passive, that means I'm using the 3rd channel as a subwoofer output. Let me just check here, for example, if I select 3-channel,
this one.
3-channel, I don't have speaker line output available for the subwoofer. So my passive subwoofer option would be grayed out.
Disable, right.
Yeah. So let's do like this, and I will use powered subwoofer, for example, set and configure, and it will create my audio zone. So if I have more channels, I can create more zones. In this case, I have only 3 channels, so I can create only 1 zone per amplifier. Here you have option to enable test tone, just to verify all speaker wiring is done correctly, so you can hear the sound. And here is like a manual control of the volume. And here you can define what is the maximum volume available for the end customer. So you can, in order to prevent any overload, you can, for example, limit it to 70% or whatever. And for end customer, 100% volume would be, in fact, in this case, 68% of the total volume available from the amplifier. Here in speaker settings, you can define the distance of the speaker wiring for the, as I selected here, 2.1, it is front, left and right channel and the subwoofer distance. And here is the delay. The maximum delay which you can set up is 250 milliseconds. You cannot go up, but you can go down like this. 250 is the maximum level. And here are the settings related to the subwoofer. You can define type of the crossover and the type of the slope. You have 2 types here available. And here you can define the gain for each of the channel available from the amplifier, and you can test it directly. This is main like low pass filter gain and high pass filter gain for the low and high frequencies. And here at the bottom, you have full equalizer where you can in detail set up the frequency response of the amplifier based on the acoustic of the room, or you can select custom and set it up manually. Everything is configurable here from central frequency Q ratio to the gain. You have 6 different bands to configure, and also you can select one of the available templates depending on the music type, for example, which you are listening, and based on that adjust the frequency response to get the best experience for the certain implementation. If we are speaking about custom, setup. Here we have option to export or import. So when one created custom frequency response, you can export it and easily import it to any other amplifier. So you do not need to do it from the beginning every time. And regarding the configuration available on the MOIP amplifier, that is all you have. Of course, you have more zones if you have more channels. And here on the main overview, you can see here I have one receiver zone ready here, and I can manually select any of the transmitters from the MOIP which I have available here. Do you have any question? Yes.
Yeah. So for the amplifier and the low filter and high filter, is it like a real low filter, or is it like in the matrix that it's using the equalizer?
So it is just a shortcut to the equalizer. So just simplified equalizer.
Okay.
Any further question?
I think this is the first step. Also, we have a second step on Composer, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So when we open Composer, are you familiar with the new MOIP controller driver, where it automatically adds the driver for each
Populate,
receiver?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that is something what we changed from the previous version, where previously you had only MOIP controller driver, and you didn't add drivers for the MOIP transmitters and receivers, and the MOIP controller you had all the connections. Now it is a little bit different because you add one driver for each device on the MOIP. So here I have already discovered some transmitters and receivers, and MOIP amplifier is one of the drivers in this list. So when I go to MOIP controller, first what I do, I, of course, identify MOIP controller by the IP address in the network, just to be sure that it's speaking with control 4. And I can, in actions, I can, first, I would always suggest synchronize driver with the controller to get the latest information. And when you click add MOIP device drivers, it will automatically add all the drivers which are discovered, which are not already in the project, as they are already here, so it's not doing anything. And also what is quite useful is you can check database directly on the controller, what controller is discovered. So you can go to print MOIP devices in project, and when you go to Lua output, you can see what is listed here. As you can see, transmitters are one group, receivers are other group, and amps are group for itself. And the driver for the amps are added like specific group, and of course video walls at the end. So just by clicking add MOIP device drivers, it will add all those drivers in the list. How MOIP amplifier driver is used? In fact, it is used like any other amplifier. You define for the certain room, you define in connections, you define audio endpoint and audio volume to be that zone or amplifier which you created for that room. Also, what is important on the MOIP controller driver, there is one additional option related to RIF. So you have here enable RIF. If this option is on, the MOIP controller will treat all virtual transmitters on core or EA controllers as additional audio sources. If you set this to off, then it will not consider transmitters from RIF, from core controllers, as available audio sources. So when you are using MOIP to distribute RIF across the network, this option should be enabled like this. So you are sure that the MOIP amplifier is able to receive audio streams from RIF.
About this setting, when we put it in on, that means that all streaming available on the controller, change it from analog or digital output to network. or we can use
So
it combining them?
No. This is for the receiver part. So that means it's able to see digital streaming services from the controller itself on the amplifier. It's not related to the direct input on the amplifier itself.
Okay.
You ask about audio inputs on the amp, right? Sorry?
But the direct inputs of the controllers, they are never under RIF, right? They are always out.
Controllers are always audio transmitters, so they are streaming across the
So the
they are streaming across the
use,
network. Sorry,
we cannot use the inputs of the audio controller to inject into the MOIP.
Well, RIF is definitely forwarded on MOIP, but some external audio source.
I don't think so, because before it was not.
So that is part how the audio input on the controller is implemented in MOIP. So if it was not before, so it's the same like now.
Yep.
But in any case, it is intended to be used as virtual MOIP transmitter for RIF.
All right.
Yes. And just regarding RIF, just to point out once again, the total number of audio streams available from the controller is always the same. Are you using RIF from MOIP or are you using direct audio outputs? Doesn't matter. So if you use 2 digital outputs for controller, you have, for example, or core 3, you have only 2 additional for MOIP. So it is always 4 for core 3, regardless do you have physical connection or using MOIP. So MOIP is not RIF through MOIP is not adding additional audio zones. It is just using from the pool of existing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so integration in Control 4 is quite straightforward. Adding the MOIP controller, discovering all the devices, and adding the drivers, and then you just define audio endpoints on the amp itself.
In this case, when we put on this setting automatically, without using connection between controller and amplifier, we have the audio source available, because automatically tune in,
just you would need if it is off, even you put it on, just of course refresh the project and leave for like a couple of minutes just to be sure it has enough time to discover transmitters on the local network. So what that option practically does, it just says to the MOIP controller, make all virtual transmitters from the controllers available for MOIP amplifier. So for the audio zones where MOIP amplifier is endpoint, those audio sources will list as available.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions? That would be all regarding the MOIP amplifier overview, setup, integration with Control 4, and configuration of OvrC.
Okay, perfectly.
Easy. Let's see.
Yeah.
Did you test it already in your place? It's stable?
I configured RIF through MOIP and it works really well. Yeah. That is what I tested on my side with this setup. As you can see, I have audio sources from, in this case, EFI available through the MOIP and it works fine.
Yeah. Anyway, these MOIP amps, they are less demanding than the video, right?
When we are speaking about network and bandwidth, yes, less demanding in any case.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Perfect.
Very good.
Any question?
So the only thing is that we always need the MOIP controller. Otherwise, we cannot configure the amp through the OvrC because they don't have IP. So MOIP controller is always, even if it's only one TV, you need the MOIP controller to access to it through OvrC.
Yeah. I didn't try to put just MOIP controller without to put just amplifier without MOIP controller. But generally, MOIP controller is what it makes it visible in OvrC.
Yeah, it's what makes the connection.
Because also it for example, we don't need to have the MOIP control on the amplifier, single amplifier with the TV. We have another problem because we are using the optical output, and of 50% of TV on the market, we haven't volume control on the optical output. In this case, we have the problem.
And you need to use amplifier as audio volume control. Yeah.
Yeah, but not all the TVs have analog.
Yeah, the other thing is the problem is actually the analog is very complicated to find TV with analog output. We had headphone output, but the level is very, I don't know. Normally,
so it's a great product, but we need another one with HDMI with eARC.
That is SA1 is SA1 has eARC.
About that, I try to use the SA1 because we have one in stock and check it in the menu, and we have a IRC, but no CEC. Only
no CEC control.
Yeah. To use it standalone.
Yes, at this moment it doesn't support CEC.
I think it's the firmware, nothing else.
Yes, it's not included. I remember now, it's not included. It's not in the feature set, but in future, probably it will be included, but I don't have any ETA for that.
Yeah, the hardware is ready because normally on the TV, the audio return channel is included in the CEC setting. Yeah. You need to activate one to have the other one.
But SA1 is not a standalone product.
Yeah.
So when we are speaking about MOIP amplifier, it is completely independent from Control 4 to say like that. Yeah. So it is a MOIP ecosystem, but SA1 is part of Control 4 ecosystem. So you have access through the driver of SA1 in Control 4, and it cannot be used as a standalone. It is independent audio source, but it requires director.
Okay, but you have the volume knob, no?
Yep. Yes.
So technically, for maybe not a TV because you would have to go there, but for a computer system, for example, you have the amplifier standing on the desk. Or even from the TV, you can control it through the knob. It's not a problem. Yeah, but you will need to stand up.
Featured implementation.
Yeah, but
without driver added to Control 4, you don't have any control of the SA1 itself. So
yeah. But I know.
But it will be cool if we will be sell as a standalone product because many of our partners they are buying Sonos, and if this will have the CEC, this will be a. Well, I'm not saying a Sonos killer, but in many situations, our dealers will prefer to buy the SA1 instead of going and buying a Sonos amp to put in the
Sonos amp, right? This is the idea.
Give the feedback to your team, because for us, we see a big opportunity of selling this as a Sonos killer. Kind of.
Okay, so generally, when SA1 is in question, it is still possible to implement CEC and to be as a standalone. So I believe it is already on our roadmap, but I don't have any further details about that.
Because we always push control, of course, but we also have access to a database of KNX simpler KNX installers that sometimes they just want to buy a pair of speakers and an amp.
Yeah, we can do that the same with the mini AVR, for example, because it's very quick installation, very easy.
AVR as episode, it is built up to be standalone. So generally everything what is triad, it is within the Control 4.
Yeah, right. Okay. I know. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Only one question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Only one question regarding the networking configuration. You said at the beginning of the presentation that the IGMP snooping needs to be enabled. In this case, recently the MOIP settings have changed a little bit. When we have the switch and all the MOIP devices connected to it, the
IGMP
snooping needs to be enabled only in the
this port.
switch that has the MOIP devices, right?
Generally, IGMP snooping shouldn't make a problem anymore, even for other switches, because it should be SDDP should be recognized within the IGMP group, and it shouldn't be dropped. So previously, we said IGMP snooping is the best to keep only on MOIP switch, because IGMP snooping was dropping SDDP, but now it's not that critical. So you shouldn't have any problems even if IGMP snooping is enabled on all the switches. But we can say for SDDP, but if you have anything else using multicast in your network, any other service which is not recognized as IGMP group by IGMP snooping protocol, it potentially can drop traffic, which it shouldn't. So I would always keep this recommendation in mind just to avoid any potential problem with some other multicast-based services. Yeah.
Okay, and what other services, for example, are potentially to drop?
So we have also, for example, AirPlay using the multicast, or Sonos. I think it's based on multicast as well. So potentially anything which uses multicast IP addresses to stream some audio or video can
streaming.
potentially drop. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
But as long that all depends on those how the implementation of those specific protocols. If they are IGMP aware, they will create their own IGMP group, and IGMP snooping will not discard them. But if they are not, they will be like unregistered traffic, and for IGMP snooping, there will be unnecessary traffic and just drop. So that needs to be just verified, and to be sure that they are IGMP aware.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and for example, it's always better to put the unregistered traffic to drop, and that's why.
Well, that is the main purpose of IGMP snooping, because that way we decrease the total amount of multicast. We prevent the congestion. Yeah. So it is important that always unregistered traffic is dropped. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Good. Very well. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Any further question, maybe?
No, all good.
Okay.
Yes. About these amps, the 3 and 5 version is only burst amount. Yes. It's only burst amount, or you can also put the little legs to have it standing or in a shelf.
I think they are shipped with the like a buttons to stick it on below as well. Yeah.
And the feedback is only on the top or also on the front, like in the 220 routers?
On the top. Yes, you have status LEDs. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
I would like to thank you for your attendance today, and have a nice day. In any case, anything what you need, just who to contact. So
yeah.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Have a nice
Enjoy.
week.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.